I'm Evie, editor of identityweek.net. I'm in conversation today with Bryan Lewis, who's the CEO of Intellicheck, which is a company that's been around for 30 years, really influential in this industry and covers lots of verticals. We'll be speaking to the CEO today, covering their fraud webinar series, which they've been recently publishing, and getting to know all about their company, their solutions that they're going to be demonstrating at the event. So it's really great to speak to you today ahead of Identity Week America 2024, which is going to be in DC. Are you excited for the event? I know it's your first time
I
presenting.
can't wait. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. The companies and the people that are coming there, you guys have a great event going on. I'm really looking forward to it.
Will it be your debut appearance, so to speak? You've been around in the industry a long time and you have lots of clients. So you've used your solutions in lots of use cases, but people don't necessarily know who you are, and you just want to boost your brand awareness at the event. Can you tell us a bit about what you do, what your hopes are at the event?
So we say this all the time. We are the system that nobody knows you've ever gone through to prove who you are. So part of what we want to do, and we work with some of the top banks, top credit providers, top social media companies in the world. Nobody knows it's us because we're white labeled into what they do. So part of what I'm looking to hopefully get done at this conference is for people to understand who we are, right? We're this little company that nobody knows, that almost everybody, I'm going to bet, at that show has gone through our system.
And that's a great reputation to have. With your recent webinar series, you've been interviewing someone who used to be a fraudster, who used to do these attacks. It's really interesting that you're doing this. What insights have you taken away from sharing this perspective, actually?
Well, look, it's interesting to see what, a bad guy who's become a good guy has done, right? And what scares, I think what should scare everybody is the amount of us that are for sale on the dark web, right? If you just think about the recent AT&T hack, right? 78 million people in the US, right? There's 300 million people in the US. So 78 million people got their identities hacked and stolen, everything that you need. And I always laugh because I've got this giant stack of fake IDs that I have from law enforcement. So if you think about proving who you are, all it takes is name, social security number, and a government ID. I can buy this for 40 bucks, right? I can buy your identity for 20 bucks online. So for $60, I can become you. And that should scare most people. They should be thinking about, and I think as anybody in the country, we should be thinking about, how are we making sure that the people that we do business with are protecting us? If they are not putting in place things that say, I'm going to check out who you are, don't do business.
And I suppose you have to know how the fraudsters operate these days to be able to, deliver the best KYC protocol, fraud detection. You're covering all bases with account onboarding, ID validation. How far-reaching is the company across all verticals now?
So we are in, it's funny because, again, what I'll say is everything from banking to social media, right? Law enforcement, 28 state level law enforcement agencies use us to make sure that they can be sure that a license is real. Automotive, the amount of, I'd be petrified. You know how long it takes to buy a car, but sitting there and people will sit there for that amount of time and steal a car. Houses, being sold out from underneath people. So the breadth of what is being done in identity theft continues to expand. So it is a wide-ranging market. Everything from, and I say this all the time, college-age Brian would hate current Brian because we're stopping kids from buying alcohol at stadiums. But, that's an important thing. And we're also keeping people from buying too much alcohol at stadiums so that they don't go out and kill people. So there is everything from, is the license real? For what purpose are you trying to have a fake license? And then your identity. And we do more than just, is this piece of plastic real? It's all about facial recognition, background checks, criminal background checks, sanctions, PEP, all of that. We can do that. So it's not only, is it really Brian, but do I also want to and can I do business with Brian?
And can you describe how your risk strategy has changed over the years? You've been in trading, really. How has it evolved with the technology, the demands from the user?
Yeah, so we've, I would say that Intellicheck has been in multiple businesses over the years in a way, and then before I took over. But what I realized is we have an ability to do something that most of our competitors don't do, right? Our competitors in this space, the folks that are looking to do identity validation, are mostly doing what I call templating. Is the template of the ID real? Is the name in the right spot? Are the holograms in the right spot? And I will tell you that, through AI and all of that, the bad guys have figured that out. We started in the other way. There are things about a barcode that you cannot know that we know, that because we helped the states figure out how to get off of magstripe and onto barcode. So we're a very different way of how we look at what we're doing and how we help our customers to figure out the first step, is your government issued document real? We're better, in my mind, than anybody else at that.
Thanks for explaining that. I think you've answered my questions about, your strategy to ID validation. What is the type of fraud at the moment which is the most prevalent, that fraudsters are really kind of challenging you with?
Look, I'd say that the biggest fraud that goes on right now is probably the simplest fraud, where I go into a store and I pretend to be you. And if you think about it, like you've probably all gone through this, you walk into a store and you spend more than $200, they're going to say, hey, do you want to open up a credit card today and save 10%? Perfect, right? Now the bad guys know that. So they're going to walk into the store and buy a generator or buy some jewelry or things that they can easily sell online. Now, and again, they've got, one of these really good fake IDs. They have your name and your social security number. They have become you, right? So 15.4 million Americans, I think last year, had their identity stolen, $23 billion stolen in just that exact system that I'm talking, what I'm talking about, that process. So that is a big part of what is going on today. And we stopped that, in 30,000 retail locations now for a multitude of banks, and we continue to grow doing that.
Well, I really look forward to having you at the event for the first time. You're going to be a gold sponsor. Thank you, Bryan, and look forward to meeting you.
Awesome. I can't wait.